Welcome! My friend Bobby and I, we're super glad you and your family have joined us here at City Kids today. It's Easter week.
I know, I'm so excited.
We're ready because, we have an Easter basket. Yay! And I'm excited because there are some eggs in my Easter basket.
I see those.
I know it. And usually when you open eggs, there's usually awesome surprises inside. They're like a bunch of little gifts that you get. It's almost like Christmas in an egg.
It kind of is, just a little surprise.
Yeah. Super fun. All right, so why don't you pick an egg?
Okay. Let's see.
What do you think it is?
I don't know. It's
hard
pretty
to tell.
quiet.
It is quiet.
I think it's full. It's a little heavy.
Oh, I hope it's candy.
Ooh,
me too.
I
love candy.
I do too. I hope it's chocolate.
Oh, what if it's money?
That's good too. I do love to shop. Money's a good thing.
Shop. Oh, it could be a little toy. They're probably thinking toy. You and I maybe fingernail polish?
Maybe. I could use some today.
I need some as well. Okay. All right. Well, let's see. It's too exciting.
Okay.
I can't wait. Let's see.
Okay.
What?
Well, let's see.
Not candy.
Not candy.
Not money.
Not money.
Not fingernail polish.
Definitely not.
You know what I think this is? I think this is all the stuff that you and I would need to tell the first part of the Easter story.
I think you're right.
Oh, let's do it. Okay. All right, so here's what today's story is. And the story is a gift in itself too. So, all right, well, maybe there's some other stuff in that Easter basket that can help us. Jesus.
Let's see.
Look at that. Jesus, yes. I'm going to scoot these over here.
Okay.
All right. So Jesus had been traveling from city to city doing miracles like things no normal person could ever do.
Right.
Like, do you remember the time that he was in the boat in the storm and it was
do.
crazy and everybody was like, we're going to die, we're going to die. And Jesus stood up and he's like, hush to the storm, and the wind obeyed him.
Yes, and the waves got still. It was crazy.
It was crazy. There are many a day where I wish the wind would obey me, but it does not. So Jesus just spoke and it happened. And then there was another time when a person couldn't walk and he had to be carried in by his four friends. You remember that story?
I do.
And Jesus just spoke to him. And then Jesus said, stand up, roll up the mat that you've been carried around on, and just go home. This guy who couldn't walk at all. And for the first time, he could. And he did. No doctor today, or then, or today, could do that.
Just Jesus.
Not like that. So, because of these things, you and I know that he'd become crazy popular. Like, crowds of people followed him everywhere that he went. And one day, he and his disciples were headed for the city of Jerusalem. It was time for Passover. Now, Passover holiday for the Jewish people had been celebrated probably by Jesus his whole life from the time he was just a little boy. It's where everybody went, and they had a big celebration because they were remembering when God had used Moses to rescue them. And so they had these special things that they did at Passover, and this Passover was really different. So he's going into the city of Jerusalem, probably like always, but did you know, I bet you've read this, but let's see what this says. You want to read that verse there?
If anyone asks you what you are doing, say, the Lord needs it and will return it soon.
So he's talking about the donkey. Do we have a donkey anywhere?
Let's see.
Okay.
We do. We do happen to have a donkey right here.
So Jesus says, you guys, two of us guys, you go ahead of me into the city, and then you're going to find this donkey and its baby tied up and just bring them to me. And then if those people are like, what are you doing? Then they're going to they'll say, well, you can tell them the Lord needs it.
Right.
So I guess that's what that verse is about. Sure enough, they went into town, they find the donkey and the colt, and sure enough,
Just like Jesus said.
just like Jesus said, he knows everything.
He does.
Yeah. And so when they were untying it, they said the Lord needs it. And then they were allowed to take it back, right? So they bring it back to Jesus and they put a coat on its back.
Let's see.
Oh,
Okay.
that'll
This-
do.
This will do.
That'll do, donkey.
Okay.
With the coat on his back. And Jesus rode the donkey into Jerusalem.
Okay.
Yeah. Cool. Now, people may not have realized it back then, but today we know that hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years earlier, there was a man who lived and died long before Jesus had come to earth, and he predicted this exact moment and time. And this, can you read what he wrote out of that?
Sure. Look, people of Jerusalem, your king is coming, riding on a donkey's colt.
What? So, God had told Zechariah to write that hundreds of years earlier. He said the rescuer that God has sent, that they've been waiting for all this time, would ride into Jerusalem on a donkey colt. And so Jesus riding in on this donkey colt is like a sign. Hello,
Right.
hello, this is your rescuer. He's the one God sent to save his people. And as the people lined up, there were palm branches. We got a palm branch. Oh,
Yep, I think I got one
All right,
here.
good.
Okay.
Oh, they shouted.
They shouted, "Praise God! Blessing on whom comes in the name of the Lord! Hail to the King of Israel!"
Wow, that's so cool. The people wanted Jesus to be their king. So they gave him this royal welcome, and they cheered, and they took off their coats and put it on the ground. So the donkey that carried Jesus walked on palm leaves and on their clothes. You know, roads were really bad back then.
Yeah, they were.
Yeah, so, all right. And so the religious leaders weren't very excited. Everybody was excited because they're like, yes, he can do anything. He should be our king. But the religious leaders went up to Jesus and, well, what'd they say?
They said, "Teacher, stop your followers from saying things like that."
What did Jesus say?
Jesus answered, "If they keep quiet, the stones along the road would burst into cheers."
That's crazy.
That is crazy.
That's crazy. So, in the middle of a parade, Jesus, in his honor, something kind of weird happened. Jesus was crying.
Why?
I know, that's so weird, right? So, here's the thing. Palm leaves in Israel are a symbol for freedom. It's kind of like our American flag. You know, when we see our flag flying, we're thinking
Sure.
about our country and how we love our country, and they cared a lot about freedom just like we do, but they weren't free because they had the Roman government in charge of them, and they didn't like it. They didn't like it a bit. And so the Jewish people actually believed that the Roman government, the Roman soldiers, and all the things that they told them to do, and they didn't have a choice because it was their laws once they took over, they thought that was their biggest problem. And they thought God sent the rescuer, Jesus, to rescue them from Roman rulers,
To be their new king.
to be their new king. That's exactly it. But Jesus didn't come to be king of their land.
No, he didn't.
He came, why did he come?
He came to be the king of their hearts.
Right. So, Jesus cried because he knew when he didn't fix the problem they wanted him to fix and become the king of their land and kick out the Romans, that they would reject him.
Yeah.
And he knew that he knew because they rejected their beautiful city of Jerusalem would be totally and completely destroyed, which actually happened 70 years later. Isn't that
I bet he
crazy?
was sad.
He was. So he cried in the middle of the parade. You know, he wasn't crying for himself, though. He was crying because he knew that without them, without believing in him, they didn't actually have a rescuer for their hearts. So that's our story today for the first week of Easter.
That's a good one.
That's awesome. Hey, will you join me tomorrow for story number 2?
I would love to.
That's great. And you know what, you guys, if you want to learn more about the story and do some activities at home to learn more about the story, then there's a link that you can click on, and you'll just find a lot of fun family experiences there. So, all right. Ooh, I hope there's a Reese's peanut butter cup in one of those
Ooh, I
eggs.
hope so too. Maybe we'll get to check out another egg tomorrow.
Yay. Let's do it.
Okay.
Okay.